to you.
Oh, my lands. It's an honor for me to talk with you. I love the project. I have played it.
Oh, thanks.
I played it over and over again, and I've seen the video. Haven't bought the T-shirt yet, but
That's because they don't exist yet.
oh, okay. Wonderful project, man.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And you say it grew out of the pandemic, the reality of the pandemic hitting you like a Big Mac truck, as it did all of us, saying, this is not real.
Yeah, I think it really, it hit the whole world like a Mack truck. And I remember those first few weeks sitting at home, kind of wondering, how serious this was going to be and how long it was going to last. And there was just a lot of information out there. And we were all kind of, waiting for the next steps with regard to being told, what to do and how do we get through it. And so I remember I had always wanted to make a gospel album. It was something that meant a lot to me, and was something I planned on doing in the near future. But when I was at home in lockdown, I said, well, maybe I should start this now because I got a home studio. I got some time. So I started recording a couple of traditional songs. And then as the time went on, I said, well, maybe I should write a few songs that kind of explain, maybe a little bit about how I'm feeling and how potentially some other folks are feeling too. So that's kind of how it came to be.
My life has changed. My world is uncertain. Everything's strange. Everything's new. But I'm not concerned with what tomorrow will bring because I've got today and I'm going to pull through. I don't know how many times Gloria and I, we've been married over 50 years now, and we've we started out as English teachers in the public school. We just love poetry. We love writers. We love the creative community. But when I heard this lyric, I said, you have to have a reason to write. I mean, something has to move you. Something has to motivate you. And I think we were all in the same boat. And so the only thing we know what to do, I've often told people, the good thing about living in Indiana, especially during the winter, you've got to get creative, create your own magic, because if you don't, you're going to get bored pretty quickly. And in a way, I mean, it's been a pretty tough thing, but in a way, it's been kind of a gift in a way, because for the first time, I don't know how many times we've addressed the subject of, we have this moment today, grab it. We used to teach a play by Thornton Wilder, Our Town, and Emily came back from the dead. You can do that in plays. And she asked the stage manager, do people ever realize life while they're living it? And the old wise stage manager said, well, Emily, the poets do, the philosophers, maybe some of the preachers, but most people go by. But I think this last year shook us up, right?
Yes, sir. I think so. And as you were saying, I think about when you said the lyric that I wrote, I've got today, it's kind of a silly joke about how, now is a gift that, that's why they call it a present. The present is a gift, I think, that we have. And what does that mean? And sometimes it means being uncomfortable. Sometimes it means rejoicing. But for most of us, this uncertainty and this discomfort was something that was pretty constant, that went on for days and weeks and months. And what was unprecedented, I think, was that we were all going through it. I mean, if your dog dies, I'm so sorry for you, but it's not my dog, and I can pray for you and really try to understand. But we just all went through the a very similar experience. And I thought, what can I, like you said, you have to have something to write about. And my world is strange. My world is uncertain. Everything's new, everything's different. What is going on? But you know what? I'm not concerned because I'm going to get through this. And that's what alone with my faith is. I might be physically alone. Times may be tough, but I really can count. This is one of the times when my faith is being tested. And I believe that faith is another gift that God gave us to compel us to communicate with him. And I'm going to call upon that. I'm going to use that gift and say, okay, I'm communicating with you. I need you to help me get through this. And I decided to use that discomfort and that uncertainty to try to write about it.
You know, I've heard you use the preposition through several times. After writing for 50 years, Gloria and I are convinced the biggest word that we've gotten back from people through email or any kind of response is, thank you for your music. It got us through a difficult time. I think it's what music does. I think it's what great poetry does. I think that's what songs of faith do. Many times, I'm a product of a faith community, but many times it doesn't change the circumstances. Sometimes the circumstance might even get worse. But the good news of the gospel, at least the way I look at it, is there's grace to get through it. And of course, you sang the old standard, Amazing Grace. And one of the verses is, through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come.
I see, I knew I was going to learn a few things by talking to you, which is why the only disappointment I have about this conversation is that you're interviewing me. It should really be the other way around. But think about what you said, because, that word through is really important, because it implies a present context in which you travel, and it may not be pleasant. And no matter how much faith you have, as you said, the circumstances
might get worse,
remain the same, or get worse. And those are the times when, I really, try to exercise that gift of faith. And so I'm going to be thinking about the word through a lot.
One of my old friends, old gospel songwriter Ira Stampfield, wrote us, I think, one of the most profound gospel songs of the last century, and it's simply this: many, and you referred to it in your songs about, hey, there's a lot of things I don't know. I have more questions than I do answers, and if we're honest about our faith, that's probably all of us. But he said, many things about tomorrow I don't seem to understand. Now that's a good start to say you don't know it all, but I know who holds tomorrow, and I know who holds my hand. The Allstate commercial says you're in good hands with Allstate, and I'm sure that's a good insurance company. But there are better hands to be in than even Allstate, and I think that's where the songs of faith come in.
Right, and it's really interesting to talk. I mean, I could talk to you about this for a long time, but a few people have said, "Well, Harry, you said you question your faith. Why would you question, God's existence?" I'm like, "Oh, no, I'm not questioning that. That remains a constant." But I think there are varying degrees where, at least for me as a human being, I lost, I think the number is 14 people over the last year, whether it was from COVID or natural causes.
Same here.
I mean, I was talking to my dad about this, and my dad, he'll be 95 this month.
I read that.
And he's devout in his faith. And I said, Pops, how do you handle, bad news like that? He says, well, there's no such thing as a pain-free life. You're going to have to deal with it. And I believe there's an art to handling things like that gracefully. And I pray that I can become better at that. And as I grow older, I try to understand that this is part of a plan that, I guess if I understood it, I don't think I don't think I can understand. I don't think we necessarily have to understand it to believe it,
Gloria and I are convinced that we live in a time when the culture does not understand the word loss. And I know we're taught to be winners, okay? And we don't want a trophy for everybody. I understand all of that. But at the same time, and you want to teach your kids to be, strong and win as much as they can win. But at the same time, if you're not ready for the word loss, you're going to be hit. The minute we come out of the womb, we start losing, at my age, my memory is not quite as good as it was one time. I don't have as much hair, so I can wear a cap now these days and take care of the hair. I don't have the low tones I used to have, when I was younger. Loss is loss. I began singing with my brother at a very young age. He was the real singer of our family, and lost him at 59. And lost a sister. Loss is part of life, and it's not fun. But I think the beauty of faith is get it in perspective. And here again, I'd love to know more about your dad, mainly because he owned a record shop. Because when I was a kid in Madison County, Indiana, if you couldn't dribble a basketball in Indiana, and I got a pacer, if you couldn't dribble a basketball, you were nobody. But on Friday night, 10 miles down the road in Anderson, Indiana, I would take my dollar or whatever it was down to Joe's record shop and get the newest. And of course, I'm old. Okay, these were 78 RPMs. It'd be interesting. Ask your dad if he ever got records, and I still say records, from Randy's record shop in Gallatin, Tennessee. I don't know where that might light up.
They were a distributor?
Yeah, they were a distributor, yes.
I'll ask him that. My mother and father, they got married in the early 50s, and then they were living in North Africa. When they got back to New Orleans, where my dad's from, they opened a record store to put themselves through school. And it was before I was born, but, they had, I'm going to ask them about Randy's because, that's who they dealt with. They dealt with these record companies, distributors, and they would go down. My dad was just telling me the other week down on, I think it was Canal Street in New Orleans, he would drive his car and go, or he'd get 3 of this record or maybe, 10 of the Elvis record or the Nat Cole record, whatever it was, and bring him to the shop. It was an amazing thing to hear about. But yeah, my dad loves music. He loves his faith. He's everything I aspire to be.
You tell your dad every time I go by Joe's record shop on Meridian Street in Anderson, I can remember it as a little kid, because music got my attention probably what, in 6th or 7th grade, and it just ate me up. I was consumed, especially by harmony and vocal stuff. And I love your stuff so much. It's just good to hear a great singer. It is especially great to hear a great singer sing these classics. I mean,
were you the harmony singer in your family?
Yes, because my brother really had the lead quality. Every group, the McGuire sisters had Phyllis that could color the tone of the Mills brothers. Maybe I'm right and maybe I'm wrong. The other guys just.
Nevertheless, I'm in love with you.
Nevertheless, I'm in love with you. I grew up on that stuff, and the Ames brothers, you, I'm in love with you, and the harmonies. And I think the thing that makes me sad, even in church music today, everybody wants to sing unison, and there's a time for unison,
Right. Well, harmony, yeah, you're right. I mean, that's a great gift to be, and you're lucky. I mean, in a sense that you can sing lead, but just the fact that your brother got a chance to sing the melody a lot, your ears were trained to sing harmony too. That's best of both worlds.
Well, especially if you did the baritone. That's what I call the slop part, when nobody else.
Hey, man, you're talking about my range now.
You just went after the notes and nobody else would get. Another thing, there's 1,000 things when
I've made lots of records with those notes.
There were 1,000 things when I was reading all your stuff. But from New Orleans, every gospel quartet as a kid when I was growing up, all they had a one-man band. The guy at the keyboard. Now later on, there may have been a guitar, but the keyboard guy was usually a pretty good Dixieland piano player. And I don't know the difference technically between Dixieland and the stride keyboard player, but evidently you grew up.
Yes, sir. So I that type of piano playing, there's a bunch of different variations of stride piano. And for your viewers and listeners who may not know, stride piano is basically when you hit a note with your left hand, and then you hit a chord and then a note in the chord. So you're kind of being the bass player and the piano player at once with your left hand. Boom, ding, dong, ding, dong, ding, dong. And then the right hand does the other stuff. And there's all kinds of variations just within the New Orleans piano playing culture of how the left hand works. There were piano players like James Booker, who invented new ways of using the left hand, where they would play different rhythms. Instead of going bonk, chink, they go ba-bonk, chink-a-dink, chink-a-donk, chink-a-dink, chink, and then the right hand. So I grew up listening to those piano players where, you know, it's kind of like dribbling the basketball. If you're a piano player in New Orleans and you don't have a left hand, they're not even going to talk to you. They don't care what you do with your right hand. It's all about that left hand. So I learned a lot about that. I learned a lot about harmony and rhythm, about accompanying myself, accompanying other singers. It was an incredible place to be from.
And you evidently snuck into, from time to time, a black church to do those B3 licks.
Well, you know, what's interesting is I didn't even have to sneak in, because my dad was the district attorney of New Orleans, and he was running for office back when I was a child. So he would go to all different kinds of places where communities would gather, whether it was a coffee shop or a synagogue or a Baptist church or a Catholic church, and he would take me with him. And, you know, you can imagine the difference between what I heard in my church growing up versus what I heard in the Black Baptist churches. It's very exciting for me. So I heard that music since I was a kid, and it's, you know, it's affected me, you know, ever since.
Back in 1995, I'm in the studio where we had a bunch of the great black gospel legends in this room, and Billy Preston was here playing the B3. I mean,
yes, it's amazing stuff. I just saw something on Billy Preston when he was like 10 years old on YouTube, and it was just, some people are just gifted, you know, and I like you know, when you were a kid and you say the music just kind of consumed you. It's the same with me. Like, thank God it did. Because I don't know what I would be doing if you know, I had to depend on any other part of my brain. But I love music. I love, you know. Can we please talk about your song for 1 second? I mean, this is all great and stuff, but so I just have to tell you this. So it's really, really rare that I get to talk to the person who wrote the song that I sang. And it was not only my wife, but most people I talked to, I say 90% of the people I talked to said that Because He Lives on this album of mine is their favorite song on the record. And it's a testament to the song. It's, as you know, there's a great craft in songwriting. You know, how do the lyrics are one thing, the melody's another thing, how they go together is another thing. And it's just a perfect song. And I just loved singing it. It was so fun. I'm so glad I can be like number 9,023 of the people, you know, who can say that. Thank you for writing it. I just love it.
You know, we've been writing for 50 years, and you have to understand, Harry, that I am an old time song pitcher. I mean, every time I wrote a song back in the old days, I would pitch them to the gospel quartets because it was our only way out, you know. But
I mean, would they come to town, and how would that work?
Yes, it was really crazy. Gloria and I were both school teachers, and we loved teaching. We taught English and drama and poetry, and we loved kids, and we directed plays and all that. And finally, after 10 years, my night job, writing these songs, was taken over my day job. And I quit teaching very reluctantly because I loved kids. I'm still a teacher at heart, out on the road with our guys. I'm an old man now. But I got all these young guys with us, and it's so fun to move them down the road. And now I've also got ADD, and I forget where I was going. It was a brilliant idea. Trust me, Harry.
Oh, you were telling me about the gospel groups would come to town.
Oh yes. Okay. So the gospel groups would come to town to do their concerts. Okay. And I had no shame. I would go in, and I would know where their range was, and and so I'd pitch them right. I just written. I'm pitching you a tune right now. It goes, more of you, more of you. I've had all what I need, just more of you. Of things I've had my fill, and yet I could hear Harry Connick. I'm pitching a tune to Harry Connick on a Zoom call, and yet I hunger.
That's what this whole thing was about, wasn't it? Okay, it took me a minute. I got you figured out.
Empty and bare, Lord, hear my prayer for more of you. It's got your name all over it.
Yeah,
so when we heard Because He Lives, we had our songs recorded by a lot of good people, and you, as a songwriter, you thank God for every cut. But you write songs because it is something that has gripped you, and you had to share whether nobody else heard it. But brother, to have a Harry Connick Jr. to take it out to the world is something else. So thank you, my friend.
Yes, sir. It's an honor, and it was an honor to hear more of you too, because man, this goes to, I'm speaking to the people watching this show right now. You already know it, but to hear it from a different perspective, it is such a gift to understand what it means to write a melody, a singable, beautiful melody with poetic lyrics that are easily understood and at the same time able to be interpreted in many different ways. You're so gifted, and it's my honor to talk to you today. I really appreciate it.
Well, God bless you, my friend. This has been a joy for me. I've been looking forward to this all day. Before we leave, can I tell you, I don't think I have ever heard the Old Rugged Cross sung more beautifully or more convincingly, or with more conviction.
That means so much to me. I remember being in high school and I was in a theology class, and they were teaching us about about crucifixion and what that actually was. I mean, if we could remove Christ from the equation just for a moment and talk about what it meant at that time to crucify someone, and what a barbaric means of torture that was, and just that alone kind of puts you in a place of humility before you interpret a song. But then when you think about Christ in relation to the cross and what that must have been like, and on a hill far away, and this emblem of suffering and shame, but I love it, I'll cling to it, that's why I didn't come out singing in the first few bars. I had to play it, and that arrangement said to me, hold on a minute, man, let me try to set this stage. And so those words mean so much. I really appreciate it.
Harry, I want to be very sensitive to the time, and I know I've gone by my time limit. And I'd love to do this again sometime if you'd like to.
Me too. It was an honor. I could talk to you all day. Next time I'm going to do the question asking.
Blessings.
Thank you.
And give me your address. I'll pitch you some more tunes.
Thanks, man.
Okay.
'Cause He lives, I can face tomorrow.